What's up guys, I'm JacobTSuggs and welcome back to another video. Now I know most of you come to my channel to hear me talk about stuff like this. However, today I figured I'd do something a bit more family-friendly oriented because I recently watched a movie that a lot of my friends have been hyping up for me, and I've gotta say, it exceeded the hype. Now, I recently watched Paddington, and I thought that it was a really great movie. I thought it was a really good family film that families could just sit down and enjoy, and overall, it's just a really heartwarming film that, after watching it for the first time a couple weeks ago, I just really enjoyed it, and it stayed in my mind a lot. That being said, my hype for Paddington 2 shot way up, and after I finally was able to see it the other day, I've gotta say, I absolutely loved this movie. Now, if you didn't know, this movie has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is just unprecedented. Not many movies have that. And this movie actually has a higher score than Citizen Kane does. If you didn't know, Citizen Kane is considered by many to be the greatest film ever made, but now it begs the question, is Paddington 2 the greatest film ever made? So welcome to Mythbusters, where we're gonna decipher this once and for all. Now, there's a lot of great elements in this film. The cinematography, the color grading, the color palette, the dialogue, and even the set design, which, to be completely honest with you, looks like something directly out of a Wes Anderson movie. Not too shabby from a director whose previous film was, well, the first Paddington, which I also think is a really solid film. Now, my good friend and fellow movie reviewer Houston Productions 1 made an excellent video talking about Paddington 2 and some of these elements that I am not necessarily going to be diving into, so if you want to see a great video regarding all of that stuff, check out Houston's video, link in the description down below. And today I want to talk about something that I think that Paddington 2 does extremely well that most movies are forgetting. The epitome of how to do a perfect character arc. Sure, on the surface level, this movie is a pretty simplistic story, but if you really dive deep into Paddington 2, you're gonna find that it's not just another throwaway kids movie. In fact, Paddington and Paddington 2 are really solid films that might go a lot deeper than you realize, and that's partially due to how complex and compelling every character in the movie is. Now, just a warning, spoilers for Paddington 2. If you have not seen Paddington or Paddington 2, what are you doing with your life? You need to watch them, you're gonna love them, I promise, and then come back and watch this video. Now, the main plot of the movie is that Paddington is a pretty innocent bear, just like in the first movie. However, after he's framed for a robbery, he's placed in prison for the majority of the movie. Granted, Paddington's kindness wears off on the prisoners, but that's not Paddington's main character arc. In fact, his main arc is essentially trying to get a pop-up book of London to give to his Aunt Lucy for her birthday. Now, since Aunt Lucy is not in London and she can't come to London, Paddington decides that it's going to be a good gift to give London to Aunt Lucy. I know I just switched from saying aunt to aunt, but tomato, tomato, whatever, just stay with me. However, at the end of the film, it resolves this in an incredibly solid and heartwarming way by having all of the townspeople help to bring Aunt Lucy to London after all of the kindness Paddington gave them in the first act of the film by washing their windows and helping them out with everyday tasks. To be completely honest with you, I thought the ending of this film was just incredibly heartwarming and might have made me tear up a little bit. I swear I'm not joking. If anything, Paddington seeing Aunt Lucy again feels earned, and that's something that most twists in films are forgetting these days. But it's not just Paddington who has an arc. Each of the members of the Brown family, which were individually developed really well in the previous film, all have something to do here as well. And although this is Paddington's story, all of the Browns have something to do and contribute to the main plot. For example, at the beginning of the film, we see that Miss Brown wants to swim to France, so she's been practicing non-stop. Mr. Brown is going through a midlife crisis after not getting a job, and is basically just taking a yoga class that he really isn't the best at. We see that in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Jonathan Brown is trying to fit in at a school and be the cool kid, so he's kind of hiding the fact that he loves steam trains and model trains and stuff like that, and Judy Brown has started her own printing press to get her mind off of a recent breakup. Like I said, this is showcased in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Now, listen to how it pays off. At the end of the movie, Miss Brown uses her swimming skills to ultimately save Paddington from drowning in a boxcar at the end of the film. Mr. Brown tries to use his yoga skills to calm him down from an intense situation, but just as before, he fails at this and needs help from another person. Jonathan Brown ultimately says the best quote in the entire film before using his trained skills to help rescue Paddington, And when I say the best quote in this movie, you've seen this be memed on Twitter and on the internet countless times, but I'm going to show it here again because it's just great.
It's Jonathan Brown, and I like steam trains.
And Judy Brown uses her printing press to help the Brown family put up posters of the convict around town to further aid Paddington's case for which he was convicted for at the start of the movie. Oh, and the townspeople that we meet at the beginning of the film as well, yeah, they also have something to contribute. All of the townspeople have really subtle arcs, including a military veteran who's really grumpy and a flower shop lady looking for love, and at the end of the film we actually see them holding hands due to Paddington low-key drawing their attention to one another. Paddington quizzes a garbage man for his exam, and he ultimately passes the exam at the end of the movie. And me old Mr. Curry, played by Peter Capaldi, who we knew from the last film, starts the film off by hating Paddington and, well, gets overthrown by the townspeople that absolutely love Paddington. So I mean, love conquers hate, right? That being said, although the Browns have a more significant and less subtle character arc, the fact that they gave subtle, small character arcs to the townspeople in this film is just astonishing to me. And the fact that each of these character arcs plays off in a satisfying way by the end of the movie says something about the quality of the narrative of this movie. My point here is that the film seems a lot more complex than you might realize. There were a lot of things that initially came off as subtle to me that made a massive impact by the end of the movie. In fact, if you're struggling with writing interesting, intriguing characters and giving them something to do, then Paddington 2 is honestly a great example of how to perfectly demonstrate this concept. I know this sounds silly and some of you are probably rolling your eyes right now, but I kid you not. Paddington and Paddington 2 especially aren't just another form of entertainment for children. They're great films that go a lot deeper into the jungle than you might expect. Did you catch my drift there? Because Paddington's from Peru in South America, the jungle bear, jungle seed, connecting the dots. Is Paddington 2 the next Cloverfield movie? I don't know. That being said, I just watched this movie and there were so many great elements of this movie, but the particular element of explaining how a character goes from point A to point B was perfectly demonstrated in this film, and in fact, I can't wait to see Paddington 2 again just so I can relive the experience of seeing how these characters develop. They do a really good job of that in this movie, and I really enjoyed it and just wanted to talk about it. Plus, I also kind of wanted to take a break from the Cloverfield videos, which I'm still working on, so I didn't want to have like an overkill of Cloverfield videos on the channel, so I figured that Paddington would be a great break from that and also a different kind of subject matter for me to discuss. So that being said, have you seen Paddington 2? Did you love it? Did you not like it? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always on Frame by Frame, remember the name, please like, comment, and subscribe, eat a marmalade sandwich, and write a letter to your dear Aunt Lucy, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.